Welcome to Southeast Asia English Business Program. Fortune Express and Visna, your host for today's program. Fortune Express started launching its special series reports on new financial power. And today we will broadcast the topic on double taxation agreement between Cambodia with other countries that benefit the signatories and set out the types of income that is covered under the treaty. The Cambodia General Department of Taxation has formally announced that the double tax agreement which the Kingdom of Cambodia signed with many countries officially come into effect on 1st January 2019 for Cambodian tax residents. These developments represent major milestones in Cambodia's ongoing tax evolutions, and in practical terms, they signify that most of the substantive provisions contained in these DTAs, including the reduction of withholding taxes on certain cross-border transactions. The total number of DTAs signed by Cambodia with other countries now come to 7 countries, including Singapore, Thailand, Brunei, China, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia on 3rd September 2019 during the visit of Malaysian Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad to Phnom Penh. The 5 more DTAs are now on negotiating. They're Japan, the Philippines, South Korea, Turkey, and Macau. The agreements will grant protection to nationals of both countries from dual taxation and will boost foreign direct investment and trade between the countries. Due to China has been Cambodia's largest foreign direct investor, Cambodia and China opened a forum on the mechanism of fiscal cooperation between the two countries at the end of August to disseminate and promote the implementation of fiscal obligations, especially the benefits and the implementation of the agreement on avoiding double taxation between Cambodia and China. The forum was participated by the General Department of Taxation Director General Kong Vibol, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Cambodia, Vang Ventien, President of the Chinese Chamber of Commerce in Cambodia, Ting Jun, and a number of experts from the General Department of Taxation and Chinese investors who are investing in big project potential and capital intensive such as Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, Hong Kong, and Singapore Special Economic Zone. General Department of Taxation Director General Kong Vibol said Chinese investment is contributing greatly to the kingdom tax revenue and called on Chinese companies to properly fulfill their tax obligations. The additional Chinese investment has contributed significantly to the growth of tax revenue and the successful implementation of the government's medium-term revenue mobilization strategy 2014-2018 and the continued implementation of its 2019-2023 strategy, he added.
I'm so delighted to see all of the big Chinese investors and business are here today, and they want to listen from our GDT in terms of tax policy, in terms of tax incentive, and in terms of reforms. And especially today, we're going to tell you what is the benefits of our DTA signed by both governments. The DTA affected now since January this year. So some of the business from China are now enjoying the benefit of DTA. Some might not enjoy it yet. They are applying, and some they still pursue more knowledge of how to get the benefit of this DTA. First of all, I would like also to express my sincere appreciation for the Excellency Ambassador of the People's Republic of China for taking a valuable time, busy time, to join us here. This means that His Excellency Ambassador pay very much attention and taking a good care of you as your representative in terms of the government officer from or government representative from China to look after your business. As you might know, over the past 5-6 years, we have done a number of reforms in terms of taxation. This reform will focus on the rectangular strategy, page 3 from the government strategy, in which we take from our core function of the good governance. This rectangular strategy will focus on the public financial management reforms, revenue mobilization strategy 2014-2016, and also utility tax policy and administration reform, in which we focus on those reforms mainly through the tax administration reform. And also we also managed to do some of the policy reform and also the regulation reform as well. But our GDT role is to focus on the tax administration reform. As you might perhaps aware of that 2014, we have launched the revenue mobilization strategy. We conduct the core function of business function reform, in which we focus on the tax registration to be better, taxpayer service to be better, the return filing of taxation to be improved, auditing mechanism, and also the appeal process function. Those reforms without a supporting function of the management structural reform and human resource reforms and the implementation of the ICT system reform. So, as you can see, the government of Cambodia over the past 5 years, without raising any tax, no new tax. The result of this reform is shown the revenue is keep increasing over the past 5 years, surplus over the targeted budget. In the last few years, you can see from the 2017, we had collected 115% over the target. So it means 15% surplus. 2018, 14%. And this year, over the 7-month period, we achieved 78% already. I think at the moment, now the end of the month, I see the number yesterday from our system. I think we collect almost 83% already over the target. So, without increasing tax, without new tax, the result of the reform alone can see the revenue increase. So this reform is much better, like the chairman of the Chinese Chamber of Commerce mentioned, that with the reform, we can make life easy for all the business here, especially the Chinese business here in Cambodia. I'm so glad to see all of you here, to come here, to listen to us, cooperate with us. This means that you guys try your best to make a compliance with the DTA in place. I think I personally would like to thank to the STA, Chinese Tax Authority, for working very hard to conclude the DTA, in which all of you here are anxiety waiting for this DTA to be concluded and promulgated into law. So this year, the DTA agreement now in force. You can apply the benefit to our GDP. I think the DTA will help to promote the tax confusion between the two countries. Eliminate a double taxation is the major benefit for all of you. It depends on how you can apply the residency of your company. If you're eligible to be residents in Cambodia, you're not subject to pay tax in China anymore. If you are not eligible to be a resident here, of course, you have to pay tax in China. Especially, I just give you example of this kind of eligible. Example, airline company. Most of the airline company, their residency is in China, so they are subject to pay the tax in China, unless the airline company register and become a residency of Cambodia, then you apply to pay the tax in Cambodia. I would like to speak about some of the reform that we are now aggressively and leading the government institution to do the reform. Because, like the Prime Minister mentioned, with reform, we are 99% survival and development. With no reform, only 1% survival and no development. So, we, over the past 5 years, as you can see, the revenue increased. We never failed to collect under the target. And this year, hopefully, we are over target again, at least 2 digits again compared to last year. So, without raising tax, with no new tax, we close the leakage, close the loopholes, and we managed to increase the collection. We are now launching the new revenue mobilization strategy. we can call RMS2, but we don't want to name number 2, number 3, but we said medium strategy. This strategy will focus from 2019, this year, to 2023. One, we focus on sustainable growth in the revenue collection. Sustainable growth, this means that it has to be stable. This collection is also based on the sustainable economic growth as well. If the economic growth average about 7%, of course we have to maintain above 7% growth. But so far, economic growth around 7%, we can collect and growth around 20% per year. So our strategy of reform are working successfully.
Through the forum, both Chinese ambassador to Cambodia Wang Ventian and President of Chinese Chamber of Commerce in Cambodia Jing Jun also expressed their willingness to cooperate with the tax administration of Cambodia to strengthen Chinese investors' fulfillment of fiscal obligation in the kingdom, and thanks to the General Department of Taxes that highlight important topics as well as provide insightful guidance for inquiries related to tax services to Chinese investors.
Cambodia government attaches great importance to our bilateral practical cooperation. I would also like to take this opportunity to extend my warm congratulations on the establishment of this regular cooperation mechanism between our two sides. China, as the largest investor in Cambodia, contributed to 74% of Cambodia's foreign investment in 2018. Investment from China has not only boosted Cambodia's economic growth, but also generated enormous tax revenue for Cambodia. Meanwhile, it has created many job opportunities, brought in a lot of advanced technology as well as management experience, and brought up a large number of local senior technicians. A couple of days ago, Cambodia authority released the data on taxation for the first 7 months of this year, which registered more than 1.7 billion US dollars. Just now, His Excellency Mr. Kong Vibol mentioned about 76% of the tax plan of this year has been accomplished, with an increase of 23.5% compared to the same period of last year. It is indeed quite a remarkable achievement. I'm sure that the Chinese enterprises in Cambodia have made great contributions in this regard. Therefore, I'd like to avail myself of this opportunity to express sincere appreciation for the achievement of the Cambodia Taxation Administration and contribution of the Chinese enterprises which have been paying tax in accordance with the Cambodia law. Dear friends, the friendship between China and Cambodia dates back to nearly 2,000 years ago. We are the best friends and the most harmonious neighbors. Our friendship has demonstrated great vitality in the new era, injecting tremendous vigor into the China-Cambodia comprehensive strategic partnership. Last April, during Prime Minister Hun Sen's attendance to the second Belt and Road Forum in Beijing, China and Cambodia signed the action plan for building the China-Cambodia community of shared future with strategic significance. The document is the first of this kind between China and foreign countries. The Belt and the Road construction is featured with win-win cooperation. and mutual development. It is indeed an important part of building the China-Cambodia community. China always stands ready to strengthen cooperation with Cambodia in various fields. I would like to see Cambodia take the lead in building a community of shared future with China. Chinese Chamber of Commerce in Cambodia is comprised of major Chinese enterprises in this country. The members of the chamber are experts in various fields such as electricity, finance, telecommunication, textile, agriculture, as well as infrastructure construction. They are the major players of our bilateral economic and trade cooperation, and a major driving force for building China-Cambodia community of shared future. Today, I'm very pleased to witness the establishment of the regular cooperation mechanism between the Chinese Chamber of Commerce in Cambodia and the Cambodia State Administration of Taxation. It is my belief that this mechanism would greatly help solve the problems encountered in the cooperation and protect the legitimate rights of Chinese enterprises as taxpayers. It would be also helpful for the State Administration of Taxation to know better the concerns of Chinese businessmen in Cambodia, improve its service, and form a virtuous circle between the government and the enterprises. The mechanism is sending a clear signal that Cambodian government, headed by Prime Minister Hun Sen, is making unremitting efforts in improving Cambodia's business environment. It is very much conducive to strengthening our economic and trade cooperation, as well as attracting more Chinese enterprises to invest in Cambodia. Dear friends, let's join our hands in providing a better business environment, promoting sustainable cooperation and development, as well as making a new contribution to the building of China-Cambodia community of shared future with strategic significance. I'd also like to take this opportunity to ask the Chinese enterprises here to continue to fully respect and abide by Cambodia's taxation laws and regulations, carry out obligations, and show more corporate social responsibility to the local society.
In the past years, under the leadership of Prime Minister Hun Sen, Cambodia has made tremendous progress in economy and social development. Annual GDP growth has remained above 7% for many years, and the poverty rate now is below 10%. DMP per capita is over $1,500 currently, which makes Cambodia stay up to the low-middle country from the least developing countries. The development of Cambodia economy have attracted many overseas investment from China and other countries. We are delighted to say, guided by the Belt and Road Initiative, more and more Chinese investors come to Cambodia, who have made much contribution to Cambodia's economy, including most of them are important contributors of tax income. With the increase of Chinese direct investment and trade, China has become the largest FDI and the largest trade partner of Cambodia. Chinese Chamber of Commerce in Cambodia is an important Chinese business association, which is under the guidance of the Chinese embassy. Our members are core Chinese-funded enterprises who have investment in power, road, airports, communications, manufacture, agriculture, and other extensive industry. The Chamber also focuses on forging corporate image and shouldering social responsibility. For example, June, after building collapsed in Sihanouk, the Chamber launched the donation instantly for victims. Supported by most of our members, we finally received money up to 110,000 US dollars. This activity has been appraised by Prime Minister Hun Sen in his Facebook. Chinese investment and business in Cambodia have got much support and help from GDT. GDT has been constantly working on tax reform, strengthening good governance, improve transparency in paying taxes, create a fair play field for us, especially the agreement for the ordinance of double taxation and the prevention of fiscal evasion with respect to tax income, signed by Cambodia and China implemented this year, which will push more bilateral investment, trade, and finance between the two countries. Some members of our chamber will also benefit from the new policy. GDT award gold certificate of tax compliance to our members, which reflect GDT's recognition for Chinese companies. We wish GDT to approve more DTA to Chinese companies and award many more gold certificates of tax compliance to our members. Due to the complexity and the professionalism of tax-related matters, the Chinese company might face several of taxation issues and challenge their business activities. In order to address their concern, to deliver their suggestion and to dialogue the idea, we propose to set up a joint work group to conduct some tax workshop regularly. We highly appreciate this kind of cooperation mechanism is agreed by both GDT and the Chinese embassy.
For 5 years straight, between 2013 and 2017, China has been Cambodia's largest foreign direct investors, with investment capital of $5.3 billion or about $1 billion annually. The Cambodian government 2014-2018 revenue mobilization strategy aimed at enhancing revenue administration and strongly increased the collection of taxes and other revenue. The strategy has been very successful. The General Department of Taxation reported tax revenues of $900 million in 2013, $1.06 billion in 2014, an increase of 17.7%, $1.3 billion in 2015, an increase of 22%, and $1.49 billion in 2016, a 15% increase. This shows that taxation is making up a significant part of the government's national revenue and budget. Tax income has continued to grow quickly in the first 7 months in 2019. The General Department of Taxation collected more than $1.73 billion increase, around 28% year-on-year. Thanks for staying with us. Please stay tuned for the next episode. If you have any comments or ideas, please direct to us via our official Facebook page, Fortune Express, and WeChat. See you.